Welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we're jumping right into something truly special. We're talking about a fig that, honestly, shouldn't even exist in a cold climate, yet it's become a total obsession for growers up here in Canada. I'm talking about the legendary yellow longneck. This isn't just a fruit, it's a giant, dramatic showpiece, and the story behind it is just as massive as the fig itself. So let's get into it. So picture this. What if one of the largest honey figs on Earth was almost lost forever? Think about a fig so incredibly huge it makes a tennis ball look small, so insanely sweet it drips with actual syrup, and yet this masterpiece was almost entirely erased from botanical history. It's a genuine lost treasure. And the fact that we are out here growing it in Canadian backyards, literally some of the toughest fig-growing climates you can imagine, is just mind-blowing.
Okay, we've got to dive right into this lore, right? So originally, this fig was floating around under the name longneck yellow before a random naming accident permanently flipped it to yellow longneck. But the rescue story is straight up dramatic. The legend is that it was found at the San Diego Botanic Garden. But during a massive purge of the famous UC Riverside fig collection, this amazing variety was literally on the chopping block. It was about to be deleted, but at the absolute last second, a collector named George Emmerich stepped in and grabbed it. If he hadn't done that, this giant honey fig would have vanished from the world entirely. No question.
So why was it such a big deal to save it? Well, look at this number, 174 grams. That is the peak recorded weight for a yellow longneck when conditions are absolutely perfect. To put that into perspective, most figs you buy at the grocery store are just a tiny fraction of that size. Even a typical yellow longneck sits around 80 to 120 grams, which is still absolutely massive. We're not talking about a quick snack here. Eating one of these is practically a meal. To really help you visualize the insane scale of this thing, at its absolute best, it is bigger than a tennis ball and literally longer than a $20 bill. It's got this super dramatic, stretched out bottle shape with a really distinct neck, and as it ripens, the skin transforms into this blindingly bright yellow. When you see this thing hanging off a branch, it's the ultimate garden showpiece. You literally stop in your tracks just to stare at it.
But it's not just about the wow factor of its size. It's what's inside that counts. Yellow longneck is what we call a honey fig, and if you know your figs, you know that means extremely high sugar content, a gooey, syrupy interior, and a late ripening window. The flavor's out of this world. It's like rich agave mixed with brown sugar, super thick and viscous. But here's the catch, and it's a big one. Because it's a honey fig, it acts exactly like a sponge. And that sets up this really dangerous dynamic we call the sugar-to-rain conflict, which is a brutal hurdle for anyone growing in a cold, wet climate.
Which brings us to Section 1, the Canadian reality check, dreams versus climate.
Look, I've got to level with you here with some radical honesty. Growing a Mediterranean giant up north is not for the faint of heart. The dream, obviously, is harvesting those 174-gram monsters, honey literally dripping from the eye, absolute Instagram perfection. But the reality in a place like Canada, you're usually going to max out around 80 to 120 grams. Which, hey, is still huge, but it demands intense heat engineering and, more importantly, strict rain protection. Remember that sponge effect I just mentioned? If a heavy autumn rain hits a yellow longneck when it's at peak ripeness, the fruit splits wide open, the inside goes completely sour, and the whole fig literally collapses. Bottom line, this is not a beginner fig.
And you can really see the trade-offs when we compare it to other popular varieties. Look at where yellow longneck sits. You get that huge size and very high sweetness, but the rain resistance is just painfully low. That drags its Canadian reliability down to moderate. Now compare that to a hardy Chicago down at the bottom. Smaller fruit, sure, but its rain resistance is excellent, making it incredibly reliable. Or even Lattarula, which gives you great sweetness with decent rain tolerance. Yellow longneck is the ultimate high-risk, high-reward outlier.
But don't worry, nature actually throws us a lifeline here. Yellow longneck is a two-chance fig, meaning it produces two separate crops. First, you get the Breba crop, which grows early on last year's wood. It's surprisingly reliable even if your summer is on the cooler side, and it delivers this fantastic brown sugar flavor. If you're in a cold inland zone, that Breba crop is your insurance policy. Then, you've got the main crop. This is the late ripening, massive honey fig we've been talking about. It's high risk because you're racing against the autumn rain and freezing temperatures. But if you pull it off, man, it is the ultimate reward. And if you're stressing about our brutal winters killing your tree, check this out. Yellow longneck has what I call the Dieback superpower. Let's say a terrible winter completely destroys the above-ground wood, killing it right down to the dirt.
This tree will aggressively rise from its roots, shoot up entirely new wood in the spring, and still push out fruit on that new growth. For us cold climate growers, that resilience is an absolute game changer.
Moving on to Section 2, Microclimate Warfare, Engineering Success.
Okay, so this is where we actually fight back. You can't just plant this fig in Canada and walk away. You have to turn your yard into a tactical battleground. Step 1 is heat capture. It's actually not the winter cold that makes this fig stubborn, it's the lack of intense summer heat. You need to blast it with heat, using south-facing brick walls, stone mulch, or even black water barrels acting as heat sinks. Step 2 is rain defense. Because of that spongy flesh, you must shield the fruit from late-season rain. I'm talking clear poly roofs or literally tying the clear umbrellas over the branches. A simple rain hat can double the quality of your harvest. And step 3 is season extension. By keeping the tree mobile, you can physically roll it into a greenhouse or a warm garage in September, buying yourself those crucial extra weeks to ripen that massive main crop.
So to pull off that mobility, here are the rapid-fire cultivation rules you need to follow. Soil should be rich and well-drained. pH between 6.0 and 7.5. Water it consistently all summer, but here's a pro tip. Strictly reduce watering late in the season to concentrate those sugars so they don't dilute. You'll want to prune it into a multi-stem bush with an open center to get maximum airflow and sunlight in there. And critically, to keep it mobile for season extension, you've got to grow this in 15 to 25-gallon containers. That lets you wheel it right out of the autumn rain and overwinter the whole thing safely inside.
And that brings us to Section 3, the final verdict. Is it worth it?
We've talked about the wild lure, the massive tennis ball size, and the literal microclimate warfare it takes to succeed. Let's look at the final scorecard. For fruit size, obviously, it's a perfect 10 out of 10. Flavor is sitting at an incredible 9.5, but we can't ignore the realities. Rain resistance is a punishing 4 out of 10. And because of all that heat engineering we just talked about, it gets a 5 out of 10 for being beginner-friendly. The ceiling for greatness here is sky high, but the floor demands a lot of your attention.
So, here is my definitive expert stamp on this. You should absolutely grow the yellow longneck if you already have a hot microclimate set up, if you are fully prepared to build rain protection in the fall, and if you're hunting for a real showpiece to show off. But stay away from it if your growing season is incredibly short, if you totally refuse to do winter protection, or if you only have the patio space for one single completely guaranteed fig tree. If you want a sure thing, buy a hardy Chicago. But if you want a massive, dripping, dramatic reward, yellow longneck is the exact challenge you're looking for.
So, I'm throwing this over to you to wrap up this explainer. What hardiness zone are you growing in? And have you tried the yellow longneck yet? Drop your zone in the comments below. Let's see who's really dialing in their microclimate warfare this year and who's going to harvest the biggest fruit. Thanks for hanging out with me on this deep dive into one of the wildest figs out there. Keep pushing those climate limits, and happy growing!